what's your feeling about 5 years?
I don't know. It's not going to bring my daughter back. It's not enough to me because I'm going to be out in 5 years. Then what? He's going to go back and do it to someone else.
We don't know if he is.
We don't know, but but it's not going to bring my daughter back. What he's telling, it's just.
Do you believe the apology that he offered? Did you think it was sincere, what he said in court? No. Why not?
I just, I don't think a criminal or someone who, in the way he was living and doing, not an honorable, good human being will do. So the apology doesn't mean anything.
Well,
he doesn't have the credit for what the apology that is to the judge, to us. He doesn't have that.
So there's nothing he could say, no apology he could offer that you would believe?
No, he threw my daughter in the ocean. Who would do that?
If you don't believe he's remorseful, then do you believe his story? Both of you kept saying that you feel like there's more to this.
More to this because there is no evidence, no witness, and it's very difficult for me to believe that. After midnight, there is nothing, just his word. And I don't have anything. I cannot do anything, but accept it, I guess.
And your husband, what your reaction to the sentence, sir?
They're no longer married.
Well, I am not believe that any justice has been served. He has killed my daughter. He has tarnished her reputation. He has made us to suffer. His apology doesn't mean a thing. And the only witnesses has been before the midnight of June 23rd of 2007. After the midnight, there is no witness, and nobody has seen my daughter dead or alive. Therefore, they have depended only on the statement that Burgess has made. Burgess is not a trustworthy person, and he has made that statement to give him the least amount of sanction the law permits. So he is a real con artist, he's a liar, he has killed my child. And 5 years, the total sentence, in 2.5 years, he's going to be a free man in the community to abduct more children, to destroy more families. This is not just, and I am not happy with the sentence that he got.
Are you almost sort of reached out to him today by saying that you're willing to hear the whole story from him? You still kind of leave your mind open to communicate with him in the future. Is that
yes? I have communicated with him in the prison. He has told many stories in the past. He has said Donna has left the house that night. He has came with so many verdicts, and this time he telling that, well, he killed her and he threw her in the ocean. Was she a piece of garbage? And according to the law of California, concealment of a death and throwing a body of a person in the trash, like a trash in the ocean, it is a misdemeanor. So to me, this is not acceptable. As a parent, I owe it to publicize through the community, this law is wrong, this law is unfair, this law is only for criminals. It's only for the protection of criminals, not the innocent child of mine, not for my family. So the justice has not been served.
Thank you.
Yes.
I would like to address that because that's our letter. That's our letter. Today we sent the following letter to Craigslist to Jim Buckmaster, President CEO and programmer Craigslist.org in San Francisco. And in addition, we also sent it to Craig Newmark, who was the founder of Craigslist.
What are you asking them?
And we said, "Dear Mr. Buckmaster, I represent Neely and Reza Joe, the parents of 19-year-old college student Donna Jou. Ms. Joe is the victim of a homicide because on Craigslist, she met John Stephen Burgess, a convicted sexual predator who had failed to register as required by law. Donna advertised on Craigslist as a math tutor. She was contacted by Mr. Burgess, who did not disclose that he had previously been convicted of a sexually predatory crime in California. Mr. Burgess invited Donna to a party in June 2007. He came to her home in Santa Margarita, California, and he took her with him to his house in Los Angeles County. After that night, at his home, she was never seen again. For almost 2 years, her parents and I constantly urged Mr. Burgess to tell the truth about what happened to Donna. Recently, he pled guilty in Los Angeles County Superior Court to involuntary manslaughter of Donna and of concealing her body by dumping her into the Pacific Ocean. Today, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for his crime. Despite extensive searches by the Los Angeles Police Department, Donna's body has still not been recovered. The pain and the agony that Donna's family and friends have experienced as a result of her loss because of crimes committed against her by a sexual predator is indescribable. Compounding this pain is the knowledge that Donna, an unsuspecting and trusting young woman, might be alive today if Mr. Burgess had not found her on Craigslist, or in the alternative, she would be alive today if Mr. Burgess had revealed on Craigslist that he was a convicted sexual predator, in which case she would never have gone to his house with him or socialized with him in any way. Unfortunately, however, Donna did not know of his prior criminal conviction because Craigslist failed to require that he disclose it. We believe that the current policy and practice of Craigslist must change, and if it does not change, other young women and children might in the future become victims of sexual predators, and those victims may even lose their lives at the hands of such criminals that they may meet on Craigslist. In light of this extremely high risk to these potential victims, I respectfully urge the following change in Craigslist's policies and practices. We believe that convicted sexual predators should not be permitted to place an ad on Craigslist, or in the alternative, if they are permitted to place such an ad, they should be required to disclose their prior convictions for these crimes and state that they have registered as required by law. This new policy would allow innocent members of the public who use your service to decide whether or not they wish to meet such predators, and if they should choose to meet them, take whatever precautions that they deem appropriate under the circumstances. Without such a policy, users of Craigslist are subjected to an unacceptable risk of harm. Making our suggested changes would, however, signify your commitment to doing whatever you can to protect the users of your service. Time is of the essence in order to prevent further tragedies, such as the tragic death of Donna Jou. We urge you to give this request for a change in your policy your immediate attention. In addition, I request that you meet with Donna Jou's parents and myself in order to discuss this matter with us, and so that you may offer your condolences in person to Donna's grieving parents. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions about this matter. I look forward to hearing from you in order to discuss a mutually convenient date for this meeting and the constructive change in your policy, which we propose. Very truly yours, and that's signed by me. And we mailed this today, in addition, emailed it.
I am curious, though, one of the things you talked about in there, and obviously